And now I'm back, and we're about to do what we call Beyond the Surface. And on Beyond the Surface today, we're going to be having a conversation that I'm sure a lot of people will say, this conversation again, but this conversation is needed because the fact that we still have, such a high number of, children being abused, being raped, it means that this conversation must continue. And I have two wonderful ladies in the studio who are doing the great work of spreading the message, of protecting children, who are doing the work of helping families that have had children who have been abused, spreading the message of, teaching body safety and, the right touch and the wrong kind of touch and, just doing this great work. I'm going to be having this conversation with them, and I want you to pay attention because I'm going to open phone lines at some point as well. I'd like you to ask questions. I'd like you to contribute as well. And don't forget, if you're watching us live on Facebook, you can leave a comment in the comment section. And also share this page. We're about to talk about something that's very germane, very, important. If you're not a parent, a child, you have a niece or nephew, a child somewhere. And so children, I always say that did not ask to be brought into this world. And so for me, I always get very, very emotional when I see, children suffering or going through something. It just really does get to me. And so we must continue to have this discussion in order to continue to protect our children. So joining me this morning on Beyond the Surface from Child Protection Network, or your state, the chairperson, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Ogedengbe. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you very much for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And with her today is the Public Relations Officer, Child Protection Network. That is Mrs. Oluwatoyin Daniel. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
Great to have you both here.
Thank you.
And they're both kitted up in your. So if you want to watch live, you can see they're both kitted, and they are definitely here in their official capacity to educate us. To let us know for those who, thankfully, if you're thankful, haven't had a case where you've had a child who have been abused, then you want to know what to do in order that this doesn't happen. And for those who have had that situation in a country like us where people are constantly telling you to keep it quiet, keep it within the family, there's a lot you can learn from what they have to say today. So once again, thank you very much, ladies, for joining me. So let's talk very quickly about Child Protection Network and the work you do. What really is Child Protection Network about, and what work have you been doing in recent times? I know you've just been voted in as the chairperson. You've been here barely about a month plus. Or thereabout. All right. So what did you meet on ground, and what is the plan for going forward?
Thank you very much again, Ronke, for having us. Good morning again, listeners. It's a great pleasure to be on air. And Child Protection Network is a consortium of NGOs that are working together in the best interest of all our children. All children, irrespective of race, class, religion, culture, whatever it is, all our children. And it's a national association. We have the Oyo State chapter, which we have come to represent this morning. Child Protection Network stands to fight for the rights of children, protecting the rights of children, all that the children represent, the fundamental rights of children, right to life from that point where a child has been born. Right. So you have NGOs that work in different aspects, to provide advocacy, in some situations and some traditional cultural practices that affect the well-being of children. For instance, the female genital mutilation, we have advocacies for that. And then we have school tour programs, we have some organizations that also specifically focused on gender-based, violence, so advocacies, going out and speaking to stakeholders, letting them know the issues that children are faced with and helping the children. So we also do that aspect of speaking to the children themselves to let them know about their rights and that they have the right to also speak up.
Fantastic. And Oluwatoyin Daniel runs one of those NGOs that Child Protection Network collaborates with in order to spread this message. And what is your organization called, and what do you do especially?
Okay, the organization is Treasure Builder Foundation.
Right.
We've been a member of CPN from inception. But precisely, I was the first secretary when the CPN was coming aboard, the secretary of the steering committee. And we'll be working. Then it started with UNICEF. We started with UNICEF. We're intervening in cases that affect children, especially in Oyo State. When we have cases, we pick it up. We want to see what is happening, what can be done. But I can tell you, recently, CPN has been doing more of prevention. Because we believe that if we can prevent some of this havoc from happening, it will be better than now standing up to cases that maybe a girl has been raped.
Right.
But now we think, as an organization, as network, we think that we can do more by empowering the girl child, empowering the boy child, empowering the parents, empowering stakeholders. Let the government know their own roles they are supposed to play, and let the parents, the teachers, like we're in your media house now,
Right.
we're in this house today. You are doing your own part, supporting us and collaborating with us
Right.
to carry on so that we can reach out to the masses. Everybody can be empowered. You know, we say people perish because
Lack of
when there is no
knowledge.
lack of knowledge, when they don't have the knowledge.
Yes.
So ignorance, they say, is a disease. But when you know the right thing, we have the Child's Rights Law, which is the Child Rights Act of 2003, which has been adopted in Oyo State in 2006. You know, we have this as our backing. So with the Child's Rights Law, we know what are the things that are expected of each of these children.
Yes.
What are the things that are expected of stakeholders and parents. Parents is one of the stakeholders. But if everybody knows what they are supposed to do, he or she is supposed to do, it makes the work easier.
Absolutely. And why, I mean, let's talk about why it's important in 2021 to still be having this conversation, to say no to rape, no to abuse, because I know you see a lot of real life. When we talk here, sometimes people don't get to understand what really is happening. Yes, they say that with the, obviously, with social media, now we're able to know more of what has been happening a long time ago. It's not that these things are new, but now people are now talking. People are speaking up. There's social media to, you know, put a focus on some of these things, but we still have a lot of work to do. So why is it pertinent that we're still having this conversation?
But I think, you know, I believe before a new thing can come up, there have been a gap.
Right.
So we have to fill this gap, because I think we have the Child's Rights Law, but it has not been fully implemented. We come on board to talk about awareness, educate people, but it is never enough. We need everybody to be aware. And if we are still having the issue of rape today, it's because some people lack understanding. They need to know. And I will tell you, it borders on to parenting, poor parenting.
Right. Okay.
If an individual, a parent, either a mother or a father, fails to educate the child, it becomes a societal issue. Because most of the problem we have in the society today starts with an individual. If an individual is not empowered, if an individual cannot do the right thing, it becomes an issue. A child that is living on the street today, it takes the grace of God for that child to come back to normal. He's been used to living on the street. Maybe he's been used to picking pockets of people to eat.
Yes.
And he's been used to all those vices, maybe smoking. It will need a real reorientation and rehabilitation.
Right.
So now our society, I can say, the society is sick. And if the society is sick, everyone is sick. So we need to diagnose what is happening in our society. The Child's Rights Law has not been fully implemented, either by stakeholders, I can say, even by parents. Most parents will tell you, I remember a particular man who got his son's buttocks burnt with candle. He told us he's not even aware there's a law that says you should not be involved in corporal punishment and all. So we can't just emphasize this. We need to keep saying it so that people will know. And we need to stop all these menace. Look at a girl of 4 being raped by 6 men. I think they are psychopaths.
Sick.
So we need to educate people, tell them, so that all this can stop. The girl child is suffering. The boy child is not left out, because people also molest the boy child.
Yes.
So we need to be on top of the game as they are stepping out. And you can see the issue of ritualists. People will tell us all sorts of things. Maybe they are raping. So we know some are pedophiles,
Yes.
but not everybody is a pedophile.
Some just do it for...
Some do it for the purpose of ritual. Why some do it for the purpose of, like, in time we'll be having the issue of, maybe I was tested HIV positive and they said I should go and look for a virgin to sleep with.
Wow.
So I don't know the correlation between that.
Right.
So we can't just keep quiet.
Right.
We need to keep saying this so that everybody will know. We need everyone that is involved with these acts to know that it is barbaric. It should not be had. It should be stopped.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Absolutely. And we're going to come back to that because, I mean, like you said, everyone has their place. Everyone has a role to play. As a parent, you have a role to play. Government has a role to play. I mean, teachers have a role to play. So I know that you're doing this drive. You've even gone to quite a number of radio stations. On the 16th of June is the Day of the African Child. You know, what is the message that you want people to get from this tour?
Thank you so much. June 16 is the International Day of the African Child. And the theme this year is making Africa fit for the African child. So when you're talking about the issues that the African child is faced with, you know, it starts with that, even a recognition of the worth and the value of the African child. So you see some traditional cultural practices that, you know, does not place any worth on the child.
Right,
Well, it's just a child.
Exactly. Don't
you
say
know,
anything.
Don't say anything. You know, the child doesn't know anything. And then some people feel the child is a tool that can just be used. So the part of the advocacy that we're pushing out, like my colleague had mentioned, you know, you have the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act that was signed into law by former President Goodluck Jonathan in 2015. Some states of the Federation have domesticated the law, and we're also grateful. Or your state also has put in place, you know, some measures, and then the law in Oyo State also has been, the governor has assented to the law a couple of months ago. But we're asking for full implementation. Now, you were asking, I mean, why are we out? Why are we talking about this? We want, for instance, the sex offenders register. We want full implementation, because when there's a law and there's no implementation, there's no enforcement. So, I mean, a perpetrator, goes scot-free. There is no, it empowers other perpetrators. There's no deterrent. So we're saying that when we have offenders and they're prosecuted, let them come under the full wrath of the law. Let the law take its course. And when this is done, for instance, if you have the sex offenders register and people, you know, you want to employ a teacher, because sometimes also, and we need to know, and part of what we're saying is that a lot of the perpetrators, in many cases, are people that are close to the victims.
Exactly.
Close to the victims.
Yes.
So, as my colleague mentioned, parents need to be very vigilant. You need to be observant. And then we're also bringing in the aspect of, you know, culture appropriate sexuality education.
Right.
You need to train your children, not just the girl child, the boy child and the girl child. Train them from when they are young. Let them understand, you know, who they are. Let them understand their body parts. Let them understand that God gave them the body as a gift, and it is theirs to protect and to keep, and that nobody has a right to violate them. So this is part of what we're saying and pushing out to the fore and calling upon the government and all the stakeholders to ensure that there is full implementation, there is full enforcement. This is the point where we are now. So that we have the laws, several laws, you know, and punitive measures being put in place. But do we have people that we can say, okay, this person was found guilty, and this person, you know, is now, you know, going through, you know, the punitive measures.
Absolutely.
So this is part of the things that we're saying.
Yes. I mean, for those who are just joining us, welcome. Thank you. If you're listening to me now, you have a part to play as well. I mean, we're in a culture where everybody just, you know, minds their business, or we like to keep things in the family. And I wanted to talk about prevention first. For those who, like I said in the beginning, there are people who thankfully have never experienced this, haven't had their child violated, and I know you do the work of going to schools, going to certain places and teaching. What are some of the things that you would say people can do in order to prevent abuse?
Okay, thank you. Firstly, I think first thing I would tell parents, I do tell people one message for every parent. If you don't have time for a child, don't give birth.
Don't have, true. Please say that again.
Don't even bother. If you don't have time, if you know you won't have enough time for that child, don't bother to even conceive that child. Because raising children, I can say, is the greatest assignment anyone can have, and the most rewarding one. Not just any assignment. You can earn your money. You can earn money from your work, the salary. But the one you earn from raising children is
good
for a
children.
lifetime. You understand?
Yes.
When you raise your children well, you will get a good reward for it. Not just you, people around you, everybody will benefit. And everybody wants to be proud of his or her child. You know, when they said, Yoruba have this adage, but omotoba daniti baba, iti oba daniti ya. So everybody is a stakeholder in this. So the message to every parent is start with raising that child well. If you are a parent, do you have what it takes to raise a child? Are you ready to be a parent? Because I can tell you, parenting is mentoring. And I can also tell you that mentoring is parenting. If you cannot mentor anybody, you cannot be a parent. And if you cannot be a parent to anybody, you cannot mentor.
True.
So it is an assignment that it requires every part of you. Some mothers leave home early in the morning. They are in Bodija market. Some have even gone outside Ibadan. Early in the morning while the child is still asleep, and they will put down the food. Tell your sister to eat this. And they now make another child, a younger child, to be the mother of the child. So the child will now be at the mercy of anybody. So if you don't have the time, don't raise that child. Don't even conceive. You know, they will thank God for the white people. They don't have to give birth. But this part of the world want to give birth to 6 and 10. Because you have these adage too, that, and the number of children you have is the number of children that will be in your house. Or your baby no matter one. It is rubbish. You can have one and raise that one very well.
Absolutely.
So for mothers, for fathers, you are the number one stakeholders. And I tell parents, my messages are, you are the number one fan your child can have. And you should be the number one friend. If you cannot be the friend of that child, starting from your womb, as you are conceiving that child, be speaking with that child. Well, most people believe children don't listen, they don't hear. Children listen and they hear. When you talk to them, they hear it. The children are meant to, you know, be very active. I think I should put it that way. Because I know children can do things that will make you to be like,
Yes.
You understand? So you have to be there for that child. The child needs your time, he needs your care, he needs your love. But if you cannot make your time, love, attention, even understanding to that child, you're just raising another you are bringing another problem to the society. Yes. The problem we have in society starts with parents who don't know what parenting is.
Let's hold the thought there, because there's a lot more, even with regards to prevention, there's a lot more, the role of, everyone. But let's take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're not just going to talk about some more about prevention, but then we're going to talk to those who have had children who have been abused. What do they do? Where do they go? Who do they talk to? I mean, who can defend them? Who can speak for them? Because in this society, we even make the victim the person who should be ashamed, who should be afraid, and then we hide the faces of the perpetrator. But if they find someone who can advocate for them, who can defend them, I bet more people will feel more at ease to speak up. We'll talk about that when we come back from this short break. So don't go away.
What is this? I thought I asked all of you to drop whatever you have outside there.
I'm sorry, sir. This is Fluco Day. I saw you coughing earlier, so I brought it out for you so you can take it.
Thanks for your kindness, but I'm smarter than that. You think I don't know that every drug that cures cough and catarrh causes drowsiness? So you want me to sleep, Abi?
This is what distinguishes Fluco Day. It does not cause drowsiness.
I know this drug. It work well.
Let me try it. Manufactured by Harvit.
Marketed and distributed by Pharmatex Nigeria Limited. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor.
Time up. And you, I said what? Flu.
Fluco Day!
Available in pharmacy shops near you.
Don't worry, Ma. He'll be home on time, just like his dad.
Are you sure?
Yes, Ma. I'm cooking their favorite jollof with Sonia tomato mix. They are here.
Hey, is the jollof ready?
See? Right on time.
Your loved ones will always rush home for tasty meals prepared with Sonia tomato mix.
Mommy, the jollof is yummy.
I wouldn't miss this jollof for anything.
It's so good eating together with a family.
Yes, Ma. All thanks to Sonia.
Sonia tomato mix brings you together. Proudly Nigerian.
ShopRite's Big Red Carnival is back. And this year, we're big on low prices, big on savings. With great deals on products like Desperado 440ml beer at 249 naira 99 kobo. And Jack Daniel's 700ml Tennessee whiskey at 8,999 naira 99 kobo. Price is valid to the 13th of June 2021.
Plus, you could stand to win 50% off your grocery shopping. Simply buy 3 participating products to qualify with ShopRite's Big Red Carnival. T's and C's apply.
Valid until the 11th of July 2021. ShopRite. Lower prices you can trust always.
Do you know that you have the right to quality broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and all right to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that your complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also, remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that your complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
Àti kékeré lọmọ mi ti ní ìran láti di ìlú mọ̀ká. Ojúṣe mi sì ni láti ràn lọ́wọ́ kí ìran rẹ̀ wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Ìdí nìyí tí ó di àjẹsára rẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ dúró digbí kó lè gbé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ títí tẹ́sẹ̀ rẹ̀ yóò fi múlẹ̀.
Ìràwọ̀ òṣèré wa tó kàn ní Oníjó Ballerino.
Mo fún ọmọ mi ní Vita lójoojúmọ́ tó ní iron, zinc àti vitamin C tó sì ran odi àjẹsára rẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ tó tún fún un ní okun láti mú kí ìran rẹ̀ wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Vita, okun láti ní ìran.
Procold now better melody. Take Procold for effective relief from cold and catarrh. Everywhere you go, take Procold.
Make no wakamis road. Procold get paracetamol and phenylephrine for effective relief from cold and catarrh within 20 minutes.
Now, Orange Drugs Limited distributor. If symptoms never stop after 3 days, make you waka go see your doctor.
Procold now better medicine.
Take Procold. Take Procold. Procold. Take Procold.
Ṣolówó nínú àkáǹtì rẹ̀, ṣó fẹ́ gba díẹ̀ nínú rẹ̀. Ṣàlọ́ ṣe cardless withdrawal. Ó dá àwọn Momo agent. Ó dá àǹtí káàdì rẹ̀ dá. Mo ti gbàgbé rẹ̀ sílé. Gbowó rẹ̀ láì ní káàdì lọ́wọ́. Ó dá àwọn Momo agent. Ìgbàkúgbà tó bá nílò owó. Ṣùgbọ́n káàdì rẹ̀ ò sí nítòsí. Ṣáàtì ṣe cardless withdrawal. Ó dá àwọn Momo agent. Momo agent yóò. Ó dá àwọn Momo agent. Ṣáàtì ṣe cardless withdrawal. Ó dá àwọn Momo agent.
Ní báyìí, o lè gbowó lọ́wọ́ èyíkéyìí aṣojú Momo tó súnmọ́ jùlọ. Kódà tí káàdì ìgbowó ò bá sí lọ́wọ́ ẹ, ṣáà ti tẹ *223# láti wá Momo agent tó súnmọ́ jùlọ.
Momo agent kò léwu, ó yá gan, kò sì ní wàhálà.
Wetin you need na safeguard.
Children them like to dey play.
Them like to dey play.
Small pigs that must jolly oh.
Them like to dey jolly oh.
But remember one thing, protect them with safeguard too. Protect them with safeguard. Protect them with safeguard too. From that teen and yama so the future go better.
Safeguard antibacterial soap dey comot every yama for body. E also dey available for 50-gram size.
ShopRite's Big Red Carnival is back. And this year, we're big on low prices, big on savings. With great deals on products like 12 Coke, Fanta, Sprite 500 ml PET bottles at 1,099 naira 99 kobo. And buy 1 350-gram Kellogg's cornflakes at 799 naira 99 kobo and you get one free. Price is valid till the 13th of June 2021.
Plus, you could stand to win 50% off your grocery shopping. Simply buy 3 participating products to qualify with ShopRite's Big Red Carnival. T's and C's apply.
Valid until the 11th of July 2021. ShopRite. Lower prices you can trust always.
láti ní ojúlówó ọmọ tó nílò tó fi darapọ̀ mọ́ṣẹ́ gbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ tó sì dakọ́ṣẹ́ mọṣẹ́ tí mùṣemúṣe dámúṣẹ́ yàtọ̀. Splash FM Media Academy ti pèsè ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó gàgàǹgbá fún gbogbo ẹni tó nífẹ̀ẹ́ láti dojúlówó agbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ tàbí ẹni tó fẹ́ fìmọ̀ kúmọ̀ nídìí iṣẹ́ gbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ tẹ́sí gbàwé ẹ̀rí mo yege. Àwọn ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ Splash FM Media Academy dá lórí Introduction to Presentation, Program and Content Development, Journalism, Basic Production, Digital Media, Yorùbá Presentation, tó ń ti ìtọ́sọ́nà lórí ìṣẹ́yọni pẹ̀lú àwọn gbajúgbajà agbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́. Fún ìforúkọsílẹ̀ àti ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé ẹ lọ sí Splash FM Media Academy tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ White House Fẹ́lẹ́lẹ̀ Ìbàdàn tàbí kẹ́ ẹ kàn sójú òpó ìtàkùn àgbáyé wa pẹ̀lú www.splashfm1055.com/academy 0705-439-3332 tàbí 0805-699-8676. ẹ sì lè kàn sórí Facebook àti Instagram wa @Splash FM Media Academy. Mú àlá rẹ ṣẹ láti dojúlówó agbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ lónìí. Splash FM Media Academy. À ń fọmọlúwàbí ṣe iṣẹ́ ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ lọ́jọ́.
Every child loves Bobo, my special Bobo Bobo drink. Every adult loves nutritious yogo free. Tasty creamy yogo free. My Bobo, my yogo, ooh la la la.
Bobo, filled with vitamins and minerals, is every child's favorite as it makes them sharp, lives them bright, and keeps them healthy. The taste is awesome and the feeling is so indescribably special. It comes in different flavors and is available in shops nationwide. Yogo yogurt is creamy, yummy, tasty, and specially made with vitamins and minerals to keep every adult truly fulfilled. It contains probiotics for your good health and nutrition. It has different flavors and is available in shops nationwide. Products of Bobo Fruits and Beverages.
My Bobo, my yogo, ooh la la la.
Ooh la la.
Welcome back to Splash 105.5 FM. Thank you for staying tuned. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. I'm your host this morning on The Morning Splash. And today on Beyond the Surface, we're talking about the child. Your child, our children. We're talking about how to protect children. Because obviously in this world where we are in, we've called it a sick world, where you see people, obviously you don't write pedophile on somebody's head. You know, they don't write abuser on somebody's head. You know, so, but you find that there are people who you would never even think. And we all know somebody who makes jokes about children. And so that's why we all have our part to play. When you see somebody who makes a joke about a 5-year-old and calls a child 5-year-old sexy, you know that the onus is on you to educate that person immediately. Don't wait until that person, you hear the week after that, oh, this person raped a 5-year-old. The moment you hear somebody saying, oh, this 5-year-old, you can't wait until they are ripe. You know that there's a seed, you know, that they're already telling you, you know, how they think. So, I mean, you've talked about, as parents, our role in ensuring that we're there for the children. We're deliberate parents. We're present, you know, but also, like I said, we all know somebody who would make a joke, you know, about children, and you already know that, if you don't, and then we laugh about it, or they laugh about it, I don't. I have absolutely no tolerance to somebody who says something about a child in a way that's sexualizes that child or anything like that. So, I mean, what would you say that people can do to speak out or to educate people around them?
Thank you very much. We already pointed out, it starts from the home. Part of what we need to do in helping children know that they have fundamental human rights is to teach them some basic principles, and they have a right to say no. Exactly. No means no. So, and no means no. So issues of somebody saying, Yawumi, you know, they start to say that. I mean, as a parent, you keep quiet and you don't say anything, just laugh about it. It's a no. you should teach the child to be able to say, no, I'm not your wife. Or if it's a boy, no, I'm not your husband.
Yes.
Okay? And so when the child has that understanding right from the home, so when the child goes out in the society, the child is also able to speak out, because even right from the home, we also want parents to be guided in the relationship between siblings at home. Okay, now the relationship, even because the issues of assault and molestation is not just from outsiders. You have incest happening, you have fathers raping, their daughters, you have mothers raping their sons. So there are also some of the things that expose children and make them vulnerable to things like this. Issues of, even dressing up and where they live together in the home. A boy and a girl, 2, 3 years old, and then they're staying in the same room, taking their bath together. Even you as a parent, undressing in the presence of your children. There are things that begin to paint pictures in the mind of the children. So you don't want to make the children vulnerable right from the home. So when they know things like that they shouldn't be exposed to things like that. So what kind of exposure are we giving the children? We had a case of a boy who said that he got into masturbation and eventually into pornography because he was always at home watching some particular movie scenes with the mother. And the mother never knew that. Sometimes he would just get up and go into the toilet and ease himself and, masturbate and then he would be back. The mother never noticed until it became an issue. It's something he couldn't hold himself and keep himself. And then for such a child, we've had cases also of an older child, the boy, who impregnated the younger sister because both of them were staying in the same room. So these are some of the exposures that we need to caution parents about in the way that we live within the home environment. And when you go out, you've talked about, in the market, and you see some men start to hit and touch inappropriately. A woman has a right. There was a case of something similar that happened, and some other men felt like, well, so what has it done? But other women stood up.
Exactly.
So we also encourage people around, don't keep quiet. When you see a person being assaulted, being molested, please say something, do something. Because we say that evil, persists when those who know what is right refuse to speak up or speak out about it. So we can do that at that level. Then we also talk about the exposure. We really want to emphasize the place of exposure because children are highly impressionable and they're vulnerable. What kind of exposure are we giving them in terms of even music content? So maybe we say this also to, media houses because children also listen. Exactly. Because we would expect that. The time belt, for instance, in the morning, when you know that children will be in the vehicles, with their parents, taking them to school, you should, put up educational, enlightening program contents. In the afternoon as well, at some periods the children will be in the vehicle. Then what kind of movies? What are the content? What kind of morals? Because you see that morals have been, badly eroded. The fear of God is absolutely nil. So these are some of the things that give rise to, the assault that we're talking about. Yes, we've talked about, off-air, the issue of dressing. So for no reason should anybody violate another person. Absolutely. And say, it's because of the way the person was dressed. It's because of the way the person was
keep having
looking.
That conversation.
But we also say, you see people who are all covered up, who have been molested. And that says to us that it's just beyond just wanting to have intimate relationship with that person. There is also the aspect of ritual, that people add to all this. So we say, be friend with your children. Let them be able to trust you to the point that they can open up and talk to you about any and everything. Then the different stages and growth of development, especially the pre-puberty and puberty as adolescents, there are changes that take place in the body. We need to talk to our children about these things. We need to teach them.
Absolutely. And let them know. People are often afraid to talk about it because they feel if I talk to my child about sex, it will mean they will go and have sex.
No, there are age appropriate.
I'm talking about even preteens. You must tell them. As opposed to when we're growing up and they told us, if you have sex, you get pregnant, or if somebody touches you,
wrong information.
Yes. Then I would like to add that apart from men touching women, there are this set of women that are so used to touching other women, which is totally wrong. Some women will just see you, the next thing they want to say, see you're looking good. And the first thing, a woman tried to do that to me. And I told her, you don't touch other people without their consent. Not to even touch where I cherish most in my parts, in my body. Because those are private parts. Apart from private, every part of my body is private.
Absolutely.
You can't touch me without taking my consent.
Exactly. And that's the message for a lot of people. Don't touch anyone without consent. We need to tell boys this, we need to teach girls. I mean, even as young, my daughter is just 3, and I keep telling her, even kisses, I just love kiss. Yes. Even me, I've stopped her from kissing me in the mouth because I realized that when she now loves somebody else, she wants to kiss them in the mouth. Yes. So yes, it's a sacrifice I have to pay to protect her. So I tell her no kiss in the mouth, don't kiss anybody in the mouth, and empower them, let them speak up. If anything's happened in school, have conversations with them when you're coming to drive home, as opposed to just shouting. Ask them how their day went, and don't just say how was your day. Fine. So what did this person do? Find out names of their friends. What did this person do? What did Kehinde do in class today? What did your teacher say? Did your teachers mark you? And you encourage them communication to speak up. But let's quickly talk about, because we don't have too much time left, about those who have now been involved in, who have been, should we call them victims?
Survivors.
Let's say a mother of a 4-year-old you mentioned who has been raped by 4 men. Where does she go? Who does she go to?
Actually, the mother of that particular girl, she's missing. The father is late, and the mother is missing.
Run away?
I think after the girl was abused the first time, she wanted to at least make a case. She reported. I learned that very week she got missing.
Oh my days.
So thereafter, the children were left to the mercy of community people that at least help them here and there. So, but for most women, most parents, especially fathers, father, most of them leave the care of the child to the mother. It shouldn't be. Everyone has a role to play. The father should be the best friend to these children. I remember female children are always tend towards the mother, the father. Like when I was growing up, I want to tell my dad everything, even though my mom will still communicate. But anything like this, I'm with my dad. But most parents and most men nowadays, I think they are not readily at home. They are not there to help. Fathers, I personally can open up, tell my dad anything about me. So I remember when my friends call me, my dad would be the one to entertain, be like, how are you? You are here? What does your mommy do? Your daddy, where are you from? Even if you have any ulterior motive, you understand, my dad would have been your best friend. So he would be like, when next are you coming? But nowadays it's no longer there. But thank God for the parents we've had, but we need better parents today. For those that have been abused, what can you do? Parents, be your children's friend. You can't just jump into their life when they are mature, or maybe in their adolescent year. Start it from when they are young. Be their friend. And it's not too late if you've not been doing that. You can start the communication line now. Start talking to them. Make them open up to you. Get into their secret diary. Right. Let them talk to you. When they talk to you, then, if they've been abused one way or the other, there is still solution. CPN is there.
So what does CPN do, for example?
Yes, we do litigation. We have people that we partner with, partner with FIDA. We have and what do they call it? The state gender-based response team.
Right.
With that one, they are the Ministry of Women Justice. Then we have the rapid response team at the Ministry of Women Affairs. So they come up to respond to any case of child abuse, child molestation. We do litigation. They do litigation with us, and they go.
And what's the success rate of making sure that someone who's done something like that is, faces the law, could go to jail? What's the success rate?
Recently, I believe initially we're having issues, with the judiciary, the police, but now even I can proudly tell you that we have this OC gender in Oyo State that is always on her toes. Just call her. She's ready to make sure you have what you want. Justice will be served. And we are still calling on,
because that's what gives a survivor confidence.
Yes.
Because if I feel like he's going to get away next week, they'll just give him, bail him.
What we are looking at, we want every other police officer in any station you are, we want them to work the way she's working. Any case that gets to her, you assure her.
What's her name?
She's I can't even remember. You know, we call her OC gender, but I have her name on my phone.
To celebrate people who are doing,
you understand?
Doing
you
good
understand?
Work. Yes.
I think I will get that.
Yes, I mean, we celebrate her.
I think we know more of that her title. I just can. You understand? But in order, more police officers need reorientation at the same time, because not all of them are vast in that area. So we need people that will rise up to such cases and bring them to limelight and let the offender be prosecuted. This woman will never allow any case of rape to go scot-free. The person must be punished.
Now, how about the law? How about the government? I know we talked earlier about this. There should be a sex offenders list. If someone has been, for example, if I want to get a driver, I need to be able to go to a list and say, "Oh, this person has not raped somebody's child before," or "Oops," and then that way you are able to name and shame people who have been involved or prosecuted, for being, perpetrators of such things. What are we asking the government to do?
It's part of what we're asking the government to do at this time, to have the sex offenders register in place. Yes, we have the family court. When cases are reported, they're taken up. And then, of course, from some of the things that we've said so far, we're beginning to see improvement. We also have the Civil Defense Corps. Yes, they also are partners. So when there are cases, we want to encourage families, we want to encourage victims to speak up. There will be need also, for medical attention. There's what we call the post-exposure prophylaxis. So it's very important that you make a report. Do not keep quiet about it. We heard of a case that happened recently in some religious setting that, a 3-year-old was defiled, and some other, people in that community were trying to cover it up, to say, it's something that shouldn't be heard. Please, we are saying, stop covering it up, because the more you do that, the more you have this going on. So speak up, call. Will we give you some numbers? We give numbers that you can call. Do you have a number that people can call? We have numbers that you can call.
So you can call these numbers. They will advocate for you. They will stick. If you have people
and psychosocial support also will give that counseling.
We have 0805 635 4859. We have 0803 569 3996.
Okay, can you call those numbers again?
0805 635 48559. 0803 569 3996.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. This conversation is something we must continue to have, and I'm glad that we're having it. I'm glad that you're also taking this, message across the state. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. I've been talking to Mrs. Oluwatoyin Ogedegbe. I was actually going to open phone lines and take telephone calls, but unfortunately, studio manager is saying we have to wrap up. I know somebody's going to message me now that they really want to talk about this, but hopefully we'll be able to have them back. And if you have messages, please go on to our comment section on Facebook, leave a message. We'll direct you to them as well. I've been talking to Mrs. Oluwatoyin Ogedegbe, chairperson CPN, that's Child Protection Network, and Mrs. Oluwatoyin Daniel, PRO Child Protection Network. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
really
for having us.
You.
Thank you so
and thank you for listening. Thank you for participating on the show today. We've got more for you, so sit tight, relax, enjoy the rest of the ride. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa.
Splash FM 105.5.
What do you need in a safeguard?